You saw the setup forming. You told yourself, I'm not taking this one. You even said it out loud, maybe typed it in your journal, maybe told your trading buddy on Discord, I'm sitting this one out. And then you took it anyway, not because you didn't know. That's the part that eats you alive. You knew. You knew the plan. You knew the rule. You knew what you were supposed to do, and you did the exact opposite. And now you're sitting there, staring at a red P and L. And the worst part isn't the loss. The worst part is you can't even be surprised. Let's rewind to that moment. Because there was a moment, and you remember it. There's always this tiny gap, this half second where your brain goes quiet and your hand moves to the mouse. And somewhere in that silence, a voice says, don't. But you click anyway. It's not ignorance. It's not even impulsiveness. Not really. Because impulsive means you didn't think. You did think. You thought about it, weighed it, felt the tension in your chest, and then overrode every signal your own mind was giving you. So what is that? What do you call it when you betray yourself with full awareness? Most traders never ask that question. They just say, I need more discipline, and move on. But discipline isn't really the problem here. You had the knowledge. You had the rules written down. You even had the discipline 5 minutes before you broke it. Something else happened in that gap. Here's what nobody talks about. That moment, the one where you override yourself, it's not about the trade. It's almost never about the trade. It's about what you're trying to feel. Think about it. When did you break the rule? Was it after a losing streak, when you were desperate to get back to even? Was it during a slow day, when boredom was crawling under your skin? Was it right after a big win, when you felt untouchable? There's always an emotional current running underneath. And the trade, the bad trade, the one you knew you shouldn't take, it was medicine. Bad medicine, but medicine. You weren't trading the chart. You were trading your feelings. The revenge trade isn't about revenge on the market. It's about trying to undo the shame of the last loss. The FOMO trade isn't about missing the move. It's about the fear that everyone's getting ahead and you're falling behind. The boredom trade isn't random. It's you trying to feel alive, trying to feel like you're doing something, because sitting still feels like failure. And here's what makes this so hard to fix. In that moment, the bad trade feels like the rational choice. Your brain builds an entire case for it in seconds. The setup is close enough. I'll use a tight stop. This one's different. It's not logic. It's a lawyer your emotions hired to win the argument. Now let's talk about what happens next. Because the trade itself isn't where the real damage is done. The real damage is the story you tell yourself after. Most traders go one of two directions. Direction one, rage. You beat yourself up. You call yourself an idiot. You slam the desk, close the laptop, and spiral into this toxic self-talk loop where you question whether you should even be doing this. I'll never learn. I'm not cut out for this. Everyone else has it figured out. Direction two, amnesia. You brush it off. You move to the next trade like nothing happened. You don't journal it, don't review it, don't sit with it. You just keep going. Because if you actually stop to look at the pattern, you'd have to admit something uncomfortable about yourself. Both directions lead to the same place, you doing the exact same thing next week. Because rage doesn't teach you anything, and amnesia guarantees you never learn. So what actually works? It starts with something that sounds simple, but is brutally hard in practice. You have to get curious instead of critical. Next time you break a rule, and there will be a next time, let's be honest, don't ask, why am I so stupid? Ask, what was I feeling 30 seconds before I clicked? Were you anxious, bored, afraid, excited, ashamed? Name it. Don't judge it. Just name it. Because the moment you name the emotion, you create a tiny gap between the feeling and the action. And that gap, that's where your actual edge lives. Not in your indicator, not in your strategy, in that gap. Here's a practical thing you can do starting tomorrow. Before every trade, write one sentence, just one. Right now, I feel blank. That's it. You don't have to analyze it. You don't have to fix it. You just have to see it, because you can't override a pattern you refuse to look at. And over time, not overnight, but over time, you'll start to notice something. You'll catch yourself in that half-second gap. You'll feel the pull toward the bad trade. And instead of going numb and clicking, you'll pause. And in that pause, you'll have a choice you didn't have before. Not because you learned a new setup, not because you found a better indicator, because you finally stopped lying to yourself about why you're really clicking. Look, I'm not telling you this because I've got it all figured out. I'm telling you this because I've been the person staring at the screen, knowing exactly what I was about to do, and doing it anyway. And the thing that eventually changed wasn't my strategy. It wasn't my risk management. It wasn't some new tool or course or mentor. It was the willingness to sit with the uncomfortable truth that the enemy was never the market. It was me choosing comfort over the plan. And if you're watching this and something in your chest just tightened a little, good. That means you already know. The question is, what are you going to do with that knowing? If this hit different, subscribe. Next video, we're going somewhere even deeper.